have such a huge event like that, where there's a lot of tragedy and a lot of loss, people are going to have extreme reactions to it. There's this fanatical Muslim side that are these terrorists that did this horrible thing, and that's what we were shown a lot of. And there's anger towards those people, and then there's a totally different perspective that we deserved it. This event caused brought
Somebody from the Middle East and say, "Oh look, but this person totally fits this model." Like here's this American, and they walk in and they're egotistical and they're super loud and they don't understand any other languages, and I don't know what else you might say, and then it's easy to convince yourself that all of the other things that you believe about Americans are also true. So I think when we assume that we understand somebody, we're all making mistakes. I think people with the higher ground are people who realize that they can't assume these things and they ought to meet people and actually know them. And I think also, I think these stereotypes are also made by our governments, right? People who are really invested in ideology and in proving that one ideology is correct and another is not are the same people who are creating these stereotypes and telling us that because somebody acts a certain way.
What is intercultural dialogue for you?
It's getting to know people from other cultures and learning more, not just getting to know them and say, oh, okay, I know a person from Russia or I know a person from Italy. It's getting to know them really and trying to see the similar things that they have and you have. And sometimes it's quite surprising how similar their things are, even if they are two different ethnicities. Sometimes there are these small similarities in their way of living or the way they practice their religion that really fascinates me. Since I speak Arabic very well, I'm a native Arabic speaker, and as well as other languages that I learned in Malta, including French, Italian, Spanish, and of course the English and Maltese, that I can sort of find a way to help the Arab world.
Your language skills, do you believe that's an asset, as you mentioned, in terms of bridging the gap between the EU as one part of the so-called Western civilization and the Arab world in
Yes,
terms of intercultural dialogue?
of course, of course. I believe that language is one of the most important ways of bridging to of communication. Sometimes even here, if I meet someone that doesn't know how to speak any of the languages that I speak, it's very hard to get through. If you want to try hard, you'll manage. But sometimes unfortunately, people don't really want to try hard. So if you find an easier way to communicate, it will be much more productive, in my opinion.